Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson, and this is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
So, Mike, what are we reviewing tonight?
Well, kiddies, we got something really good for you tonight. We're going to do Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey. Aha, you thought you were going to do Winnie-the-Pooh, the kiddies run, didn't you?
Yeah, this one was released just this year.
Yeah, just in January, wasn't it?
Yeah.
January. So this one here is Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey, is a 2023 British independent slasher film.
Mm-hmm. You never see this coming, have you guys?
So yeah, it's a low budget job.
Yeah, it has been announced on social media that they were going to do a slasher, sort of Winnie-the-Pooh type movie out of this.
Well,
it has been talked about, and then a lot of people often say this will never come off the ground, stuff like that. This will never happen, yada yada. But they proved everyone right. They can do this.
So
anyway,
all the good bits,
all the interesting bits.
Produced by Frake-Waterfield and Scott Jeffrey. Directed by Frake-Waterfield. Screenplay by, you guessed it, Frake-Waterfield. And obviously it's been based on the Winnie-the-Pooh character by A.A. Milne and E.H. Shepard.
Yeah.
However,
it
ain't nothing like the kiddies book.
Yeah. In the past few years we've already had Goodbye Robin. Christopher Robin.
Yeah.
And we had the other one that was just with Ewan McGregor in it, which has the same voiceover actors from the old cartoon back in the 90s.
I've seen it, yeah.
I think, so you guys know, we've already actually met the voiceover actor for Winnie-the-Pooh. So just like I should bring it up now, this month, because it was really an interesting experience for me. I never thought I'd get the chance to meet a local legend that's been doing Disney characters along with other characters during the 90s and the 80s for such a long time when you think about it. And he's still a booming, successful voiceover actor. Anyway, this has nothing to do with this. He has nothing to do with this production, so let's move on to this one.
He's talking about the other one.
Yes.
Now, I wasn't quite familiar. Budget. Now, this was an independent, low-budget film.
Yes.
And I say that because I want to talk about a bit more about that in a moment. The budget was $100,000.
Ooh.
Now, wait a minute. You think, that's cheap. You can't make a movie cheap. He did. Okay. Now, box office, 1 month after. No, the figures are about 1 month after, these box office figures. About $4 to $5 million.
Yeah.
Now, I have seen better moves than this make a lot less at the box office.
Yeah.
Or fail totally.
Yeah.
Considering it's a low budget, independent film, even though I'll talk about some critic stuff later. Even though critics didn't like it, the paying public went to see it.
True.
And they enjoyed it, obviously, because they would have told their friends about it, and they went to see it.
Yeah, as I said in the past, guys, this is not a movie for everyone. There are probably a few skeptics, like people who think faithfully to the original cartoon, but don't want to think anyone else's version will come radically close.
Now,
but it's so important. This is a separate film project. Don't always drag Disney into it because you think Disney is the one who has more claim over Winnie-the-Pooh than anyone else. So guys, try to keep an open mind about this movie, guys. Don't take in a literal perspective all the time when you think about it. Anyway, so go on, Mike.
Right.
Right.
How do I put this? Okay. Before Sarah starts the story, I'll tell you a little bit about this and why I like it.
Right.
Okay. This was originally set for a nationwide one-night event, one screening, say maybe on TV or a streaming site or something. I don't know. One-night event. a spike in online popularity had it expanded to a major worldwide theatrical release. Now, the interest shown in it before it was released is the thing that prompted it to go theatrical and not stay online. So the people wanted to see it, irrespective of what the critics said.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is why I say it's interesting. Yeah, they were forced into a theatrical release.
Feel that?
To a certain degree. Okay, it was released on the 26th of January this year, and released in the United States. That was in Mexico, and then 15th of February. It was released in the United Kingdom, United States on the 15th of February, United Kingdom on the 10th of March. So these figures here for the budget and the box office are only up to about the 26th of February or 25th of February.
Yeah.
So it's probably made a lot more than the $4 million by now.
Yeah,
so,
this film was actually shot in just 10 days. So
10 days. Roger Corman would have been proud.
Well, I imagine the people at the time, they filmed it very cheaply. You know, friends' homes, maybe a few.
Not so much that. If you get, if everybody
areas, someone's backyard.
No, look, you look. Reese Proust directed, wrote the screenplay. He did the editing as well, just like you do.
Yeah, I do.
So if the audio is okay, and he's paid a little bit of money out to some of the actors, and had to pay hiring of some areas, government fees and borrowing people's house and whatever, a lot of it comes out of your budget, props and the like. So you're on $100,000, he's done a bloody good job, even though it's an independent, wasn't meant to be an A-grade movie. Now, I'm going to review it later, based on the fact it wasn't meant to be an A-grade movie.
I did post on Facebook not too long ago about how, in my opinion, this is my opinion, guys, that thanks to this new slasher, I think it's going to, and its new characters like Winnie-the-Pooh and Piglet, and I like to think this is going to create, this is sort of a new horror icon. It will spread like wildfire, and it will probably continue getting people interested.
I'll go to this.
In my opinion, guys.
The sequel.
There's going to be a sequel
There's
coming
going to be
out.
a sequel, but he's going to spend a lot more money on the sequel, so it's going to be a better product than the first one.
See, guys?
So, yeah.
As I said, as I've said in the past, when you look at Friday the 13th or Halloween, you get a small independent film like that, and if it catches eyes and interest, then that film will kind of develop into a big audience.
You could say this is like a sampler, I suppose, for things to come. Reese Frake-Waterfield, I'd say Reese. Reese may well be another George Lucas or another Steven Spielberg or a John Carpenter or somebody in the making.
Yes.
So you don't know. From little acorns, mighty oak trees grow, or whatever the saying is.
Well,
so
this is probably much appropriate.
Yeah. So
So this is kind of gonna. I wouldn't be surprised this will catch on eventually.
It might, because we re-reviewed the Banana Splits movie
did.
Last year.
Yeah, and it's still.
And that was a bent twist on the original Banana Twist, lovey sort of things. Well, the Banana Splits went a little bit rampant and killed people.
And last year they had a Grinch turned slasher type horror movie that came out last year.
What was that one called?
I don't know the name of it, but I hope to review it probably in December sometime before Christmas begins. So I'm hoping to review that next. But anyway, so let's get back to what we're discussing.
Yeah. So
who stars and whatever and stuff like that. Now we've talked about box office and we talked about that.
I'm not going to go too far into it. I'm just going to do a couple of them because it doesn't make much difference. Okay. Believe it or not, Christopher Robin is in the movie. He's played by Nikolai Leon, plays Christopher Robin. I'll drop down to two of the other main stars.
Okay.
Craig David Dowsett plays Winnie-the-Pooh. And Chris Cordell plays Piglet. Now, I've got other people that are running around ever decreasing circles,
Yeah.
you know. I'll mention a few of them, but I can't remember all the names because I'll just drop me off like flies anyway.
Yeah. By the time this movie's done, you won't care too much about these characters.
If you're all worried about... now, Maria Taylor plays Maria. Funny that.
Funny.
Natasha Rose Mills plays Jessica. Amber Doig-Thorne plays Alice. Danielle Rowland plays Zoe. Natasha Tossini plays Laura. Paula Coyce plays Mary. And there's a Mary Kelly as Tina and a Danielle Scott as Charlene. I don't think the other ones are much any... yeah. There you go. I think they're all the main people there we need to know about. Yeah. So I can't think of anything I want to say before we start talking about it. Do you want to go for it?
Sure. So the story begins. It starts off like in small drawing animation, I think, where we find it tells the story about how Christopher Robin befriended Winnie-the-Pooh and his gang.
Yeah, they're real creatures.
There's Winnie-the-Pooh, Piglet, Owl, and Rabbit. There's no Tigger in this one. I don't even know why. They didn't add that character in. Beats me.
Oh, well, there you go then.
Anyway, so over the years, Christopher Robin visits his little friends and brings food for them.
Let's go back. These are real creatures who are somewhere in between human and animal, like the mutants or something like that.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
The drawings don't give us any information too much, although the drawings, so you guys know, they're not looking like the ones that they're in the illustrations from the book from what's-his-face's book.
Whatever.
Anyway, so don't get confused. So in this one, as Christopher Robin grows up, he makes sure that the creatures get fed.
He brings food
he brings
to them
them
and
food,
stuff, and
honey, stuff like that. And one day he tells them he heads off to college to study to be a doctor.
And he can't look after them.
And soon enough, they are forced to, eat whatever they could have. But unfortunately, they start starving, and without Christopher helping them, they soon turn on... I should mention Eeyore is in this.
Eeyore only had a very, very short bit.
Eeyore gets eaten by the group.
You know, when you're a bunch of starving people that's going down and resort to cannibalism,
and thanks to their, this sort of thing, they don't feel like they don't want to trust humans anymore, and they go a bit feral. And thanks to their feral nature, they cease to talk at all. So
Piglet and Winnie resort to grunting at each other and stuff.
Yeah. A few years later, Christopher Robin returns to the 100-acre wood. That's why it's called 100-acre wood. It's still
just like in the book.
Yeah. Him and his fiancée are heading into the woods so she can be introduced to his little old friends.
And she's thinking, he's making it up,
Yeah, this is a kid's fancy,
imaginary
whatever.
Friend.
So, anyway,
She's bloody wrong.
They head into the woods. There we see what remains of Winnie-the-Pooh and little hideaway, his home. It's not it's really grungy and very creepy, and I guess to Christopher Robin it was much more cleaner. And
well, the animals haven't been looking after it. They're not very domesticated, are they?
Anyway, then let me see. They do eventually hear them coming and hide under the bed, I think it was, and we see both Winnie and Piglet. They're actually, they look like half human and half.
And they're the size of grown human men, obviously, because they. Men dressed up.
Yeah, Piglet has these big tusks like he's a boar.
Yeah, like a boar, yeah. I
guess if he was if Piglet grew up, I guess that's what he would look like.
He'd be boar, and then go into politics. Right, there you
go. Anyway, Mary wants to flee, and all that stuff, but then she gets killed by, I think, Piglet, and she gets... killed and then burnt to death. Or not burnt to death, just burnt enough.
I know he strangles her.
He strangles her and he puts her on the fire. burns.
He might have, you need a bit of barbecue, Hey.
Then we cut to the title card where it says news clippings of previous spottings of Piglet and Winnie, in the woods, and
calling them monsters. How rude!
I agree. And anyway,
Winnie-the-Pooh.
Yes, and we do, and it's like the abominable snowman or the
that's the Sasquatch from
Sasquatch.
stuff. Yeah.
Anyway, it's different, just so you guys know. Anyway, so then we meet our new other characters in the story. Maria, I think her name is a girl who was dealing with her own trauma of being home invaded by a stalker.
Yeah, poor lady.
And she's dealing with the best she can. So she and a bunch of friends, they go to her sort of a place up in the Hundred Wood in order to get her to relax a little bit and reconnect with nature and stuff. Of course, they do eventually get there, and the place is not too bad. It's nice. It's got internet, although each one of them are forced to get up their phones because, well, for reasons. If you know my sister, you'll see what I'm talking about, because every time I see my sister, she's on the phone all the time, text messaging.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stuff.
So, anyway, the girls settle in, and while this is happening, we notice we cross over to one of her friends who's a little late, and as she's heading into the woods, she encounters Winnie-the-Pooh and Piglet, and she gets killed and dragged to
the factory?
Dragged to an area, to a building, and her body is
fed into a wood chipper. We think. It looks like wood chipper. Yeah. We didn't see it too. We just saw the legs dangling.
It was dark. It's hard to see what it is. Yeah. That's not important. Anyway, so just so you guys know, Christopher Robin's still alive, technically, and he's being tortured by Winnie-the-Pooh. I think he's still upset with what
he left his friend
did.
behind.
We do get a few flashbacks to when Christopher was younger, where he was still looking after them and saying the same quotes from the novel and from everywhere else.
What would have been really good during this?
What?
Winnie-the-Pooh should have said to Christopher Robin, "Now it's time to say your prayers, Christopher Robin." That would have been such a good line.
I like a silent killer as per usual.
He does say a couple of words at the end.
Yes, he does.
You left, remember?
Yes. Anyway, so we do see a flash of what remains of Mary's bones that I told you guys earlier that was burnt to a cinder, and I imagine they probably ate her flesh. I think maybe
probably they had a barbecue. Maybe.
This is going. No, we don't know what happens to owl or rabbit. We thought maybe they might pop up or maybe appear, but we didn't see it.
No Tigger.
So we just have Piglet and Winnie. That's it.
They couldn't afford any more masks, probably.
They probably couldn't. Or the actors quit on them during shooting days. I don't know.
Oh, here we go. Here, the Elena Treehouse, Pooh, who has held Christopher prisoner, brutally whips him with Eeyore's tail. I was wondering what it was. And places Mary's skeletal remains in the corner.
Well, I did say that.
Before showering Christopher in her blood.
Yeah.
Very nice, tasty, not stuff for the kiddies.
Yeah. Anyway, so meanwhile, Maria and her friends are settling in. There's a bit of whatever going on, and while one of her friends is out in the jacuzzi or spa or whatever.
Yeah, one of those bubbly things. Yeah.
She's taking out a secret phone and snapping a few photos for herself.
It's supposed to have had all the phones in, but she sees a mad selfie sort of whatever.
And while she's snapping, she sees in the background.
Piglet or Pooh?
I think it was Pooh in the background, Winnie-the-Pooh. And she's starting to wonder who's out there. And she gets out and she's wandering around. She encounters both of them, and they kind of tie her down and have her head run over by the car.
That's right. Yeah, I think Was it Piglet held her down, and Winnie
Piglet
got in the car,
held her down while Winnie decided
moved
to
the
drive
car forward
the
and put the front wheel over her head or something or other.
Yeah, crushing her head.
Yeah,
It was very graphic.
It was not a bad special effect for what it was.
It was really gross. That's what.
I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike here was saying to me when we were watching this scene, how did Winnie learn to drive a car?
Well, yeah, I can't imagine someone who's half man, half bear, who doesn't talk, going into town saying, "Excuse me, can I get a driver's license?"
Well, I like to think, seeing as when Christopher was still a teenager and still living in the 100-acre wood, he may have taught Winnie how to drive a car.
What, leave the car keys, go out and Saturday night and pick up another bears?
I don't know. It's possible. There's a big chance that maybe that would have happened. I don't know.
Whatever.
Anyway, so she gets killed, and the girls discover her dead body, and they they notice the door open. So they say that they stick together, and they try to find their phones, but their phones are what's become of their phones, Mike?
I know one of the girls. It's probably one of the dead ones. I know somebody. Remember, hid the phones.
Oh yeah.
They took all the phones off them. Remember? Okay, right.
Yes. So anyway, they're phoneless at this point in time. So they have no way of contacting the outside world. Although they should have a landline, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
At these places.
Well, not necessarily. When you get a place out in the woods, so to speak, you won't necessarily have a landline. You have electricity.
But you got to admit, if I lived in a house like that, I would at least have a line in case I want to order pizza.
You're missing what I'm saying. If they're so far out, they would have a generator or solar power. You won't necessarily have a landline.
True.
You would have a mobile phone
Anyway,
to get your pizza delivered.
Yes. Anyway, the lights go out and the girls start trying to keep it hidden. Of course, I think one of the girls gets killed. You know, she gets into an indoor swimming pool and she tries to swim away from, I think it was Piglet, and Piglet uses a sledgehammer and hits her on the head.
Give her a smash in the side of the head a couple of times. And now, who's going to clean the pool, honestly?
No one.
No consideration. He should have taken her outside the pool and did it out there next to the pool, not in the water.
He takes her friend and takes her to the cabin, and let me see. Oh, yeah. The two other girls, they start heading into the woods and trying to find their friend. Eventually, they find her body, and they start taking her out of there. They find Christopher Robin, and he tries to tell them to quickly get out of there. And, of course, they hear another person that's in the place. It's a woman whom I don't know much about, I think.
It's only wasn't a girl in the beginning who was driving there and got lost in a car or something?
That was a girl that was
in the factory.
That got her head incinerated in a wood chipper.
Okay. Oh, well, just a previous person in the forest again.
Yeah, so anyway, that girl, that lady I should say, she's been
he said he's been mauling me. What are you talking about? But there's blood all over her face, so he's obviously been...
What's mauling her?
Scratching her.
Oh, I see.
So he's probably been scratching her face and tore some of the skin away, and so her face was dripping. We just thought, just a bit of blood and crap. But maybe some of the skin was missing too.
Yeah. She makes a point of... She takes one of the girls' guns. Her friend... I think it was Maria who actually brought a gun, I guess, to the cabin.
Who wouldn't?
Bringing a gun to a knife fight.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's only one bullet.
Party. Yeah.
There's only one bullet in it, which doesn't do us very well. And the lady gets her rough end. Eventually, the two girls, they start heading off into the woods, while the other girl remains to try to kill Piglet. And she... eventually does do him a very bad job on him, saying things like him taunting him.
Al stays behind to subdue Piglet.
Yes.
Subsequently chaining him up and then fatally bludgeoning him to death
with
his own sledgehammer.
Yeah.
What a nice lady.
And all the time she does this and fails to realise that Pooh might arrive on the scene, which he does. He ends up killing her, And
he shove a knife or something through her mouth knife or a machete or something through her mouth and pin it to the pole.
Yeah, right into the wall.
Yeah,
Reminds me a little bit.
It's a knife. Yeah.
Right, reminds me a little bit of Michael Myers a little bit in that scene.
But he didn't cock his head like Michael Myers, appreciating his work of art.
No, Michael. I think dear old Pooh. I think this is not the first time he's done this. So technically,
he's not a virgin.
He doesn't really care how it looks as long as it's functional.
As long as it's done, it worked.
Anyway, the two remaining girls, they head out to the highway, and they eventually run into a bunch of locals.
Some local guys: Logan, Tucker, John, and Colt. Yeah.
Why does that sound familiar?
Tucker and Dale. No.
Anyway, they beg these men to drive off and try to get them away.
And they said, we'll take care of this guy dressed up as a bear.
Yeah, it's one man against three more men, right before man.
Yeah, and guess what happened? The bear took care of the guys.
Yeah, they took out a bat, a sledgehammer.
What, a bottle?
A bottle,
like
and I think, what was the other one?
I can't remember.
It
was a crowbar.
A crowbar, yeah.
A crowbar.
A sledgehammer.
A sledgehammer or a baseball bat.
Well, I think there was a sledgehammer and a baseball bat and a bottle.
Bottle. We're going to do some damage here. And guess what? The bear won.
Yeah. Anyway, the girls tried to run the bear over, but unfortunately, he climbs onto the back of the car and starts, and they kind of crash, and one of the girls gets pulled out by
Mr. Bear,
and we don't see what becomes of her. We only know her head gets ripped off.
Yeah. And he throws a head at the car. Yeah.
And the girl uses the windscreen wipers and tries to start up the car.
Why would you put the windscreen wipers on and smear blood all over the windscreen so you couldn't see what was going on?
Yeah. He plans on taking her out and about to kill her too. But then Christopher Robin comes to the rescue and saves...
In another car.
Yes.
And they sandwich him.
Yes.
They smash him. We think, he's dead now.
But as they're getting up and trying to flee... we notice that Winnie's still alive, and he starts, getting out of the car, and he tries to approach the pair, and he grabs hold of, was it Maria?
Maria. Maria's the last one lit. Yeah.
Christopher begs Pooh to
not to kill her,
and to remember who he is, all that stuff.
Yeah,
and
you were a good bear. There's a good bear still living inside you somewhere.
And then, Winnie says to him, you left. And he kills Maria, stabs her several times.
No, he slats the throat.
And
then Christopher Robin starts to run away. And then Winnie-Pooh gets down there on his knees and starts stabbing it through the eye socket or the top of the head or something or other.
Yeah.
Many, 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 many times.
Yeah. All the time he's stabbing her, and I keep thinking, he has plenty of times, he's already killed her by cutting her throat. He could have used this time to chase after Christopher. Or maybe, deep down, Winnie still loves his old
and he doesn't want
friend
to kill him.
And doesn't want to kill him. So he's using this time to kill Maria.
Yeah,
that's
venting
my theory.
his anger.
Venting his frustrations, his anger on her instead of his former friend. So that's the end. We fade out, and then at the end of the credits, in the end credits, it says Winnie-the-Pooh will return. Yeah. The only time I've ever seen this happen is when
James Bond movie.
It's in the James Bond movie, where that would appear at the end of the credits or at the beginning of the ending of the credits. But other than that, it's kind of refreshing to see that they might be making a sequel here, and which is kind of cool. And they might even put a little bit more money and more into the special effects. I do like the fact that this actually used homemade special effects,
Well, it's basic. Yeah.
I mean, instead of rely on, CGI all the time, it's nice to see a little bit of homemade special effects. It takes me back to the 80s and the 70s, where you made props and prosthetics to make the special effects to make the audience believe this is really happening, right, Mike?
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's kind of refreshing to see this sort of thing coming in this movie. So, anyway, Mike, what did you think of it? You saw it last night, so
I saw it.
What was your impression?
I saw. I kicked it. No.
Yes.
Yeah, how do I put it? Okay, like I said earlier, I mean, this was an independent movie. Mm-hmm. So when I look at independent movies, especially like budget ones, I try to be generous when I look at it. Mm-hmm. I don't think the filming was that bad. There's a couple of points there where the lighting was a little bit too dark, so you couldn't quite see what was going on. But, I mean, crikey, I mean, low budget, I mean, they had probably lighting problems. The aperture on the cameras might not have been adequate enough for the dark scenes. I don't know. It wasn't. Could have been probably tweaked in post. Don't know. But apart from a couple of things like that, I think the filming was pretty good for what it was on a low budget film. Now, if it's an A grade film, I'd say not good. But for a budget film, I think with what they had, and again, I don't know where the money was spent. I've got wages, post editing, special effects. I don't know, but I would say money well spent. Especially. The acting wasn't top, but I don't think they're top actors. Yeah. So they're just average actors doing the best they could.
You'd be surprised, Mike, that even sometimes doing something like this. You don't need to be a very top actor to be a slasher. That's what I'm saying. You didn't need a top actor. Oh, a bunch of people who probably have acting skills were not top of the range A grade, but I think they covered the roles reasonably well. Yeah, the directorship wasn't too bad.
You
don't have to be you have to be Einstein to make when you're portraying a slasher killer.
No, I didn't say that. Yeah. It wasn't. I'm just saying. It wasn't made as an A-grade movie, and I'm saying its limitations were it had average actors, not top-range actors. It had possibly other limitations such as that, which held its quality level down a little bit. Now, when you allow for that on an independent film on a low budget, you only got to say the guys did a good job. Mm-hmm. How's that, Grandpa?
True.
That's what I was trying to hint at before you interrupted me, as you usually do. Yeah.
I know some people. I think that the reason people pick this movie apart is because they keep going back to the original Winnie-the-Pooh and think that nothing beats the original. Anything like this is sort of sacrilegious
I would totally disagree with you on that one. I would say the biggest problem with the critics is they're expecting an A-grade movie. And it's not an A-grade movie. Yeah. Okay, I would say it's a good B movie. How's that? Okay, and if they say, "Oh, we're expected to be a bit more horrific. We expected a bit more character development. We want this." Well, I'm sorry, you can't have everything all the time.
Yeah, and considering that Christopher Robin escaped, there might be a chance that in the next one
he'll become a Van Helsing, go hunting bear. How's that?
Or who knows? Maybe he may encounter Rabbit and Owl and see what becomes of them.
They could be nice.
Or maybe they're also hunting in a different part of the woods. I understand that. They didn't all stay in one place all together. I mean, it's pretty much obvious that in the story that they lived in different parts of the woods when you think about it, Mike.
Yeah, might be. Don't know.
Again, as I said before, I'm not trying to use I mean, this does have reference points to the book and maybe the bit of Disney.
Well, that's one thing. They had to be very careful.
They had to be careful
about copyright and everything, even when they dressed Winnie-the-Pooh up.
Yeah.
And different things.
They
had a mask which is probably similar, but not totally.
Yeah.
It was made by, I had it written down here somewhere.
The mask was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like another.
Winnie-the-Pooh didn't wear any clothes or anything, did he?
He wore a red shirt.
Red shirt, sometimes.
That's about it.
Yeah. Well, the guy who played Winnie-the-Pooh and this was wearing a red shirt.
Yeah.
And he had a Winnie-the-Pooh mask on his head, a full head mask.
Yeah.
And you would have to say that's probably the only possible copyright infringement that Disney could have complained about, but I don't think they did.
Yeah.
They said that's near enough's good enough for that. That's okay. It's borderline. You didn't go over that border, so
As long as it doesn't really actually.
And Piglet didn't look like Piglet.
Really?
Piglet didn't look like Piglet out of the cartoons or anything.
Of course not. He's supposed to be an adult.
No, he's a
version
boar.
of him.
He's a boar, and he got those big tusks and everything. But Piglet was this little wimpy little pig.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he wasn't anything like the Piglet in the original
not supposed
cartoon series and books. So it's not. What's the biggie?
And he really used weird pig noises like a real pig.
They did grunt a bit and squeal a bit.
Like squeal, like in all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like a dying pig would make, or
whatever.
Pig would.
I'd like to know how it's doing box office today, but the box office here is end of February, and it's been over a month since then. It's been open in other countries now. I'd like to know.
I like to hear those more detailed references.
Well, you're not going to be happy with them.
The reception, yeah.
You won't be happy with them.
I know. I'm going to be happy with them.
This has made a buckload of money compared to its budget. So, take these as you wish. I don't. See, they didn't like because they were expecting something else. Okay.
Yeah.
They expected an A-grade movie, like I said. Here we go. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 4%.
Okay.
Based on 54 critic reviews. Okay.
Okay. Go on.
Wait a minute. Okay, right. The website's consensus reads, "Oh, brother."
Oh, brother. That's
like,
all.
oh, God. Yeah. Metacritic. Weighted average 16 out of 100, indicating an overwhelming dislike. Christian Zilko from IndieWire scored the film a C+, criticised the film's screenplay as an incoherent mess. I shouldn't think so. I watched it. I could follow it. Maybe he wasn't watching it because he's rolling his eyes too much.
Maybe.
Now, as well as the film's low production value. Well, it's $100,000. What do you bloody well expect? Awarding the film a similar score, Luke Thompson of the AV Club offered similar criticism towards its cheap production values and lack of coherent story, while also noting that the film fulfills its promise of a slasher film based on the beloved children's book. Polygon's Tasha Robinson felt that certain elements such as the gore and inherent grotesqueness of the material worked well, but added to the film's poor dialogue, lack of humour. It wasn't supposed to be funny, and connection to its basic source material ruined an interesting premise.
I don't know what they're expecting. Humour? Really?
And like I said before, this wasn't supposed to get syndicated or theatrical released or anything else. It was supposed to be a one-day shoot, one-day
premiere,
one-day thingy broadcast. That was it. And they were talked into releasing it theatrically.
Yeah.
So don't blame the producer, director, or anybody else. Because the people wanted it out there. So the critics... No, honestly, grow up.
Yeah, these guys seem to think that... I think they're mostly annoyed that they just think, as I said before, there's going to be a lot of people who have mixed feelings about this movie.
And don't mention the original Buddy Kitties. This has got nothing... It's sort of like when we watched
some of these reviewers probably grew up with Winnie-the-Pooh and they respect the original.
They were expecting a better storyline, more gore, maybe a bit of humour thrown in it. Yet so they didn't get what they were expecting in an A-grade movie because it's not an A-grade movie.
I guess they were expecting banana splits.
Well, the banana splits movie. Now that wasn't bad. That was done a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I can't remember what year.
Not too long ago.
But we reviewed it, and that was quite good. Had a good storyline, enough carnage in it to keep everybody happy.
Yeah. I think people are expecting that type of gore.
And it wasn't. It wasn't as.
But this one is different. This one's in the woods, sort of. Jason Voorhees meets Michael Myers. Silent killer stuff. Not supposed to be over chatty or laughing.
You look at Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees. Now, those two movie franchises, they were very quiet. They never said anything. There was no real backstories except for bits and pieces were fed along the way. especially Jason Voorhees. Oh, Mama's crazy. My little boy died, and little boy takes over killing the people. But that's about the only backstory got in him. What's he doing his days off? I've got no idea.
Yeah.
So but all we know is he's a mad killer. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He doesn't talk. That's it. So,
and considering that in this one, it's pretty obvious that this is not Winnie-the-Pooh or Piglet's first kill, because going by that lady that was mauled by Piglet, and all that stuff. Oh, so you guys know, she does mention something about them speaking in broken English, if that's the word.
Yes, they had a couple little words here. They spoke. She heard them speak in one or two words here and there, because they did make a vow of silence after breaking away from Christopher Robin. Said, "We want nothing to do with humanity, and we won't talk anymore." But they didn't say they couldn't talk.
Yeah, not to one another.
Yeah.
So anyway, I do think that Winnie-the-Pooh, no doubt in this one, he's actually killed more than just once. This is not his first one. Well,
all newspaper clippings indicate that some killings have been going on, so yeah.
Also, I think this makes me think of the Wrong Turn movies a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And the other ones that deal with cabin in the woods or woods-related slasher movies that would deal with a bunch of teens who go out to the middle of nowhere hoping to bond and smoke and probably do a you-know-what here and there.
Whatever.
And it sort of falls into that genre a little bit, which is where I think it comes from. And I have no problem with them using Winnie-the-Pooh as a bit of a slasher take on it because, as a lot of people are aware, most professional filmmakers, the ones who do it right, would often take something that's a nice environment or a nice thing you never think is that will cause anyone a harm, and turn it into something scary for audiences to fear.
Like a girl's doll or something.
Like Annabelle.
Annabelle, yeah, and Chucky.
And Chucky and
a nice kid's toy, not. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Taking something that's innocent and you think there's nothing dangerous about it, but then your judgment is put to the test when you find out that what you think is innocent and not harmful turns into something dangerous.
Anyway, let's get on the scoring.
Anyway, that's my opinion. But as I said before, everyone's going to have a different opinion about this movie. So far, in those reception we've seen so far, everyone seems to the reception thinks it's a movie with low mileage.
No, not mileage. No redeeming qualities.
However,
the box office is different.
Yes, exactly.
And I go by what the box office is. But the people, the bums in seats, tell the truth.
Yeah.
A handful of people giving a critique don't amount to a hell of beans to me if they're full of crap or are not tuned into the movie. Yeah. I'm sorry. Now you can watch. Okay, just hypothetically.
Okay.
Let us say.
Right.
A bunch of critics for today. Right. Sat down and reviewed the first Frankenstein movie with Boris Karloff. Mm-hmm. No. Now, if they compared it to today's movies, they'll say it's a load of crap. It's not. It's not bloodthirsty enough. It's not this. It's not that. But back when it was made for what it was in that period, it was a damn fine movie and scared the crap out of people. So the reviewers have got their own personal agendas, their own paradigms, everything else, and they go, well, I only like this sort of movie, so I'm going to only grade these movies up. And everything else goes down the tubes. Well, I'm sorry. I try to be, we both try to be fair when we're dealing with these movies. Yeah. That's why we do a movie like this. I'm not going to give it 10, but I can see it's got good qualities in it. Yeah. And I can see where they're going with it. Yeah. So I'm going to grade it now. I'm going to give it I was going to do 7.5. I'm going to give it an 8. Only thing holding it back for me is some of the filming techniques in the low light areas. I like low light, but when it gets down to almost no light and you can't see what's going on, there's a bit of a borderline here.
Yeah, I think I agree with Mike here. I mean, I like atmosphere light. If there's,
I like natural light, ambient light instead of
if you're
using
able
spottage.
to light your characters behind and work out and see what they're doing in the shot, then I could figure out what's going on in the scene.
Yeah, I mean, it's no good saying, leave me alone, and you can't see anything. Mm-hmm. Well, you can't tell. You got to see some of it to actually help tell the story in your head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I like to think that.
What are you going to give it?
I think I'd like to give it 8.5 out of 10.
Oh, you're a nice girl, aren't you?
I mean, as I said before,
you love Winnie-the-Pooh. That's all.
It's more than that. It's just that there are some of the special effects I like, but I did like the fact when the girl had her head decapitated in the scene. We don't see her head getting decapitated. We don't see a shot of the blades cutting to her head. You know, you just see him standing over the body, and you see the knife in his hand and the head in the other.
No, good editing.
It would be nice.
You know what happened, but you didn't have to actually see it happen.
Yes.
If you hear in the background, it's a helicopter.
As I was saying, I just meant like if there was a noise that like a chainsaw or even just an axe swinging through the air, then you know that this girl is going to have something.
And you see a head roll along the ground, you know what's happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
As I said before, you need these things to give you tell the story.
You don't have to see everything all the time. Yes. Anyway, I'm going to say where it's available.
Yes, you do that.
At this point in time,
right?
Now this is a couple of weeks ago because we're doing this a couple of weeks ahead. As at today, eBay has plenty for sale. Amazon has plenty for sale, but pre-ordering.
Right.
And there's no Prime rental listing on there yet. I would presume it would be there at some stage in between now and the time you hear the podcast, or shortly thereafter. However, eBay's got some for sale. Amazon has a pre-order list, I believe. So other sites, other streaming sites and other platforms may have access to it. Don't know. Have a look around your favourites, but that's where they are if you want them. Mm-hmm. So there.
Yes. So
Winnie
anyway,
the Pooh, ya-da-da-da, Winnie the Pooh. Okay. I won't give up my day job, folks.
Anyway, as I was saying, it's a good movie, not for everyone, as I said before, and don't always believe the reception, or even if you don't believe us too much, that's okay. But I suggest, again, as I often do in the past, watch it and let us know what you guys think.
Are there any shorts on YouTube?
No. Okay. Sadly. There's only
you can't have a look.
There is only a trailer.
Well, a trailer. Yeah, it's short. A trailer. Yeah.
That's about it for it.
Have a look. Have a look at the trailer. See if it tickles your fancy.
Yeah.
And have a go.
Yeah. Go on. Give it a go.
But it might be on a streaming site, so you might be able to get it.
Well, there is ITN distributor. Yeah. They may have it on their site.
Yeah. Have a look. You might be able to find it.
So you may be able to find it.
It's just on Amazon Prime at the moment. So
So you may check it out.
Yeah, check all the usuals. And ITN, whatever. And see what happens. Yeah, you might find it, enjoy it.
Yeah.
And and come back and say, hey, crappy movie, or great movie, or whatever.
Well, most of the friends I've ever talked to about slashers, they're not always 100% a fan of the genre, no doubt. But imagine that's okay for them. I mean, it's not going to be for everyone, as I said. I mean, I remember a lot of people often comment when I was doing my own film project, one person said this was not really their cup of tea. It's because they're not into that type
sort of film.
Sort of film.
So they marked us down to 0, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was disgusting.
Yeah. I won't mention what review and which one it was. So, anyway, that's about it for us tonight, guys. Be sure to check out that movie, as we said in the past. It's not, on Blu-ray or DVD, I don't think yet.
What?
Would you say it's on Blu-ray or DVD yet?
I just said that.
Oh, yeah, it is.
I said it's available on eBay already.
Okay, it's
not available on Amazon. They're doing pre-orders, and there's no rental information for Prime on there as of today.
So you can go on eBay and order it from there, yada.
Or you can go to streaming sites and whatever that, what he said it was.
Or IT and distributor.
Yeah, they might have it. They rent?
They rent and probably hire, or rent or buy.
Yeah, well, have a look. Have a look at them and have a look at it. Yeah.
Anyway, that's about it for us guys tonight. Be sure to check it out and let us know in the comments what you think of it. That's it for us. So, thanks for listening to our latest podcast, everyone. This is Sarah Stephenson
and Michael
saying, see you guys around on Boys and Ghouls. Bye for now.
Bye.
Da 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 da.
Winnie-the-Pooh, little cameo stuffed with fluffies, Winnie-the-Pooh.
That's it for us. Bye for now.
No, not going to leave that on, are we? Oh, Lord.